Alright, so hello everyone, and welcome. This is a special video I've just literally completed. Everybody's gone to the Rapture on the PS4. It was a 5-hour game that I played today, live on release day, on stream, and I wanted to do one additional video where I do a mini review of the game, because I really don't feel this is a game that warrants an incredibly long and detailed review or anything like that, but undoubtedly people are going to ask me what did I think about spending 5 hours of today playing this game, and I want to give you my thoughts on Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. I will say this though, my voice will not be perfectly synced with what you're hearing because I need to stagger the audio a little bit when I do capture, so I couldn't stop the stream and restart it, so it's not perfectly synced, but for the most part it should be okay. Alright, so so what do I think? Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. I started the game seriously thinking this game was going to have religious connections, and in some ways it does, but I think that's kind of a misnomer, meaning it's a false name, because what they wanted to do with this game is give you an idea of what it was going to be about, but they didn't want to spoil. And if you actually called the game by any of the things that it really is about, you probably wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about. Versus Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Oh, the Rapture is when supposedly people disappear and maybe they go to heaven or whatever in certain religions, so you kind of have an idea of what the game's about. People kind of disappearing. So in that regards, I understand why they called it this, but I think the name is not accurate. The name is a misnomer in a lot of ways. And a lot of people who play this game or watch a playthrough of this game are probably going to argue that it's not even a game. That really what it is they call them walking simulators, right? Where you go all around for a house or a map or whatever it is, looking for some kind of logs to read that'll give you some kind of story. And similar games to this, Dear Esther, Gone Home, these games that are very gameplay light. In fact, I played Gone Home a couple years back. I really liked it because it was refreshing and something totally different. It had this story that had a supernatural element to it that ended up being a red herring by the end of the game, but it was kind of a mystery of what happened to the people that were supposed to be in this house when you arrived home. Where are they? What's going on? And that's what the game delivered on. After, 4 hours of gameplay, you knew what had happened, even though it was really a lot of just exploration and reading. There were secret rooms, there were puzzles to solve, and by the end of the game, you knew what had happened, and it was like, okay, fair enough. This game, okay, is not even as much of a game as Gone Home was. So to warn anyone who wants to get this game, I know a lot of people are saying it's like Gone Home. No, this game has less gameplay than Gone Home. This game is literally walk around in circles looking for either a phone that'll play a message, looking for a radio that'll play a message, or looking for a light thingy that'll reenact some kind of a scene of people who used to be in this town and have vanished. And that's it. That's the game. That's literally the entirety of the game. There's no hidden collectibles. There's nothing. It's just walk around and find these things and activate them to try to piece together the story, and then basically do it for 5 hours until the story unfolds and it's over, okay? So some people are definitely going to say this game is absolutely fucking terrible because it's not a game. And I can understand that. A lot of people, when you buy a video game, you're looking for something that has gameplay that's addicting and fun and has replay value, which this game has 0 replay value, by the way. Once you've beaten it once, there's no reason to ever replay it again. And I can understand that. On the flip side, this game does a lot of things pretty interestingly right. I think that the story is actually quite gripping and interesting, and it is pretty unique for a game to have a story like this, that for 5 hours I had no clue what was going on. I didn't really enjoy the gameplay, but the story was gripping enough that I wanted to keep playing it and finish the game. In addition, the voice acting, the music in particular, and to some extent the graphics were pretty good. I say the graphics are beautiful, except that when you look a little bit further past just the facade of the game, you could see some of the shortcomings. Like, flowers are flat like this, they're two-dimensional. And, pop-in constantly happening. In the first minute of the game, I realized that if you look to the left and right, that the fog that was down on the ground had a draw distance limitation, would make it disappear and reappear as you turned the camera left and right. So it's nice as long as you take it at face value and you're not looking for the biggest, most, oh my god, I'm looking for the best score ever, and I'm looking for a game that's really like groundbreaking. No, you're not going to get that. But if you're looking for an interesting, gripping story, I definitely think it delivers in that regard. And I like the fact that the game is open world. It is completely open world. You can wander in all kinds of different areas, and there's no specific order that you need to do anything in order to beat the game. You can look at this house or that house. You can walk to the other end of the map and do stuff there, then backtrack. You could go in a circle. You could do a semicircle, and just walking around this map of the town that you're in, trying to figure out what the hell happened to everyone, and it doesn't matter the order. That's pretty cool. I like that. And, you know, they could have made it a lot more linear, where there's a light, you have to follow the light through town, and you have to do it in a specific order to unlock the stuff. They didn't do that. They wanted it to be more exploratory, okay? So, I like the open world, I like the music, I like the graphics to some extent, the voice acting, and the story. What don't I like about the game? I'll tell you right now, the walking is fucking slow as shit. And even though there is an ability to walk slightly faster by holding down right trigger, it's still slow as all shit. And I think they did it on purpose, sadly, to pad the length of the game, because if you could walk fast, you could run, you could probably beat this game in 2 to 3 hours tops. And being that it is a game that they're selling for $20 on PlayStation Network, probably saying, what's a 2 to 3 hour game for $20? It's not going to fly. So, okay, make you walk slow, even if you're holding the button, and, you know, it'll be a 5-hour game. I think that's actually what kind of happened. In addition, yeah, I do actually wish that there was other gameplay besides just find these audio logs or cutscenes and watch them. Being the silent observer works in some cases. In this case, I found myself actually thinking back to when I played Gone Home. I was like, well, in Gone Home, there were puzzles you had to solve. You need to know combinations. You need to find secret rooms. There was an element of even, I remember getting tingles on my spine because I thought there was this crazy supernatural element in Gone Home that around every corner there could be a jump scare or there could be something. And of course, there really weren't any of those in that game, but they did suspense well. In this game, it's kind of like, there's no real, you don't even know who you are, first of all. You don't even know who you're supposed to be during most of the game. It is revealed by the end of the game, so I won't spoil there, but that's cool that they do reveal it by the end of the game, but they don't tell you who you are. There's no, you know, no danger, no risk factor involved. You could give two shits about what's going on because you don't even have a connection, you know? At least in Gone Home, you know you're a character, there's a risk. You don't even know in this game what the fuck's going on, so it's kind of like, you're kind of disassociated from being too connected with the game. And I think that that's annoying in a little bit. Like, why couldn't there have been some interactivity, right? In order to find a certain log, you have to find a hidden combination that'll at least open a door or something. None of that, okay? The other thing I didn't like about the game, yes, it was open world, that's nice, but sometimes when things are too open world, now it can become too confusing, and you don't have a map in this game. There are maps all around the game, but you don't have a map in your menu where you can bring it up and say, oh, here I am in relation to everything else, so you could constantly wander into circles and get lost, and say, where's this freaking next thing I'm supposed to be finding? Where's the audio log? And you don't know. And there is a light that kind of goes around town, and if you find it and you follow it, generally it will lead you to an audio log, so that's okay. But still, give me something. Give me on a map, give me waypoints so I know where I'm supposed to go next, or at least I know, at least tell me there are 10 audio logs in this area, find them all if you want to be a completionist. You don't even know, and I beat the game in 5 hours. I guarantee you I missed stuff. I guarantee you there were scenes and stuff that I missed, but I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know if I was advancing to the next portion of the story or not, and in a lot of ways, that's kind of disappointing. The game should have some kind of a system where, okay, at least you know there's 20 things to find, so if you didn't find them all, at least you can go find them, right? Because like I said, once you know the full story of the game by the end of the game, you don't want to go back and replay it just to find something you've lost, and there's no way you would even know. You have to replay it a million times or look it up. Have someone who has a walkthrough or something on the internet who found all the content of the game in order to even know if you got all the content or not. So that's really stupid. You could get lost, you don't know where the content is, you don't know how much content there even is, and you don't know if you're missing out on something in the game. Those are critical design flaws that, like, could have easily been improved. And I understand maybe they really wanted this air of mystery in the game, so we really don't want you to know who you are, we really don't want you to know what's going on. Okay, but at the end of the day, you have to understand something. This is a game. Yes, it is a piece of art. Absolutely, it's a piece of art. It's an artistic journey, but it's also a game. And if you want people to put down their money to buy a game, you have to make some concessions to make that game appeal to gamers. You're not going to get someone who's an artistic guy run out and buy a PlayStation 4 for the first time to play Everybody's Gone to the Rapture because you tell him it's an artistic masterpiece. No, it's not going to happen. You need common gamers to want to buy this game, and it seems they didn't make any concessions for the common gamer. They just said, let's make this big, lofty, artistic vision and fuck and if people don't understand it. Which you could do, but then if the game doesn't sell, you can't complain. I think that's kind of what's going to happen with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. They're going to hear that it's this big artistic game that's a 5-hour journey. There's no gameplay. And once you go through it once, you never want to play it again. And most people are going to say, why would I spend $20 on that? If at the most, I'll watch someone play it on YouTube or on stream. Why the hell would I spend my hard-earned money, $20 for a game that I'm going to beat in 5 hours, no replayability, and it doesn't have even common things in it? You know what I mean? From a game. So I can understand, I can see both sides of the fence, you know what I mean? I could say, I enjoyed the game for what it was. I enjoyed the message. By the way, the end of the game, without spoiling, has an incredibly philosophical ending that makes you think about the human condition of life and death and stuff like that. It's really well thought out, and I'll be honest, it is a really interesting message. So this is probably one of the very few games ever in the history that I've played video games that made me think philosophically about life and death and the human condition, and that says something. Unfortunately, what it doesn't say is that this is a good game. It just says that it's something that makes you think, and just because something makes you think doesn't mean that it's good. And unfortunately, I get the feeling there will be game reviewers. Oh, but the game is philosophical, it makes you think. So, what does that have to do with a video game that people buy? Nothing. You could have had a piece of artwork on a wall at a museum that makes you think just as much. It could have been a book that made you think just as much, only those aren't $20 5-hour experiences. Those you could just go to the museum quickly and see it, or look at a picture of it online, and you don't have to spend your hard-earned money of $20 fucking in order to experience it. And that's kind of the problem here. I really don't think that the gamers are going to come out in droves to play this game. This will be a game that if you really like if you liked Gone Home, if you like Dear Esther, if you like artistic games like Journey, remember Journey a couple years ago that I played, and I said, I really didn't get it. Like, I understand it's an artistic vision, but the fact that there's no real definitive story, there are no answers at the end of the game, and the gameplay is kind of meh, that I didn't really like it. How many people that year said it's game of the year? There are people who said Journey is game of the fucking year. And I scratch my head when I hear shit like that. Because we got these game studios that are putting out these huge titles, 20, 30 hours more of gameplay, massive replayability, tons of voice acting, tons of money invested in the game. You know, one of the best bangs for your buck you can ever get. Journey, a 2-hour game, is the game of the year because it was artsy-fartsy. I don't get that. And you're never going to get that from me. You know what I mean? You're never going to get that from me, where I think that just because I had a little tinge of self-awareness and thought, or a little bit of emotion and feeling, I'm not going to tell you this is a game of the year. No, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture may be the only game this year that makes you think about your own mortality, but it's not a good game. That's all I can say. It's not a good game. It's a great message. It's a philosophical masterpiece. It's a good piece of art. It's a terrible video game. And no one should buy it. Oh yeah, no one. Not one person on this planet, unless you're buying it like me to play a review or a stream or whatever, should put down their money for this. If you see the thing once, you're done. You don't ever need to play it yourself. You don't need to experience it. It doesn't need to really exist. And that's the sad part. I understand people want to make more things that are artistic, okay, but you have to make concessions if you want to make an artistic game. It can't just be art for the sake of art. It also has to have a tie-in, or else why are people going to buy it? And I personally don't think that this game is very good as a game, and I don't think anyone should buy it. I do think that as an artistic message and a journey, it's great. Watch someone play it, but you don't have to experience it for yourself, and you don't have to spend your own money on it. As a game, honestly, I can't even give it a score. People want me to give it a score on the stream chat right now. Give it a score, Phil. How do you give a game like this a score that's not a game? It's kind of like Gone Home. I thought Gone Home was fun, but it wasn't. I couldn't say that Gone Home's a better game than any other game that came out that year that was actually a real game. You know what I mean? So I think it's a fun journey. It's certainly a great philosophical message. It will make you think. but it's not a video game. It doesn't need to be purchased. You can just watch someone play it quickly, and there's no reason for you to ever bother with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture ever again. So I can't recommend it as a buy. I can't even recommend it as like, maybe if it goes on discount for like $2 on PSN, okay. Big deal. $2 you can wipe your ass with, you know what I mean? But no one should be spending significant amounts of money on this game. It's just not. It's not a game. And that's, unfortunately, just the sad state of it. I'm not going to give it a score. I'm not. You can't give a game like this a score. You can't. And I love IGN will give it this score, and this reviewer will give it. You can't. It's not a game. There's no frame of reference for me to say, well, this is connected. Compared this to Fallout New Vegas that I'm playing now, compared to Bloodborne, and compared to Batman Arkham Knight, how can I score this game? Obviously, none of those games had any kind of a message or an artistic value like this one did. But they sure as hell had a lot more gameplay. They were a lot more fun to play. So you can't do it. You know what I mean? You can't do it. Alright, well. In conclusion, don't buy the game. Check out someone's playthrough of it. It is a great message. This is a step towards making game art. If Everybody's Gone to the Rapture had gameplay elements in it, like platforming, like puzzle solving, you know, then it could have been a great game. But the game makers weren't going for that. The Chinese Room is the name of the game studio. They weren't going for that. They wanted to make art for the sake of art, make it artsy-fartsy, and say, well, some of these stupid, you know, artsy, artistic fucking journalists who don't even understand that their game review is supposed to be a fucking game review will be blown away by the philosophical message and give it high scores. And actually, apparently that's what's happening, or at least that's what I'm hearing. Certain game outlets are giving it tons of high scores when it's not even really a video game. That's ridiculous in my opinion, and that's incredibly irresponsible. But it's not. They could have done it a lot better. They didn't. They chose to go the artsy way. Therefore, it's not worth a buy. It's not even worth a play unless you can get it really cheap. Watch someone play it, get the message. Wow, good job, Chinese Room. Make a game next time. And that's all I really have to say. That's it, everyone. Thank you for watching this mini review. Peace out, and I will see you later.